Hi everybody, this lesson is about the Graphing Lab. I'm going to be teaching you how to use Excel to create graphs. We're going to start with the bar chart. On your Graphing Lab, you have some data. We are going to need to get this data into Excel, so you're going to need to copy and paste it into an Excel document. The independent variable, remember that is the one that you manipulate. So in this case, you're going to need to make sure you're aware of which one is being manipulated or set by the person designing the experiment, and then which one is responding, which is the dependent variable, and that's the one that you're measuring. So that'll help you easily decide. So on our graph here, and I'm sorry this isn't very clear, but I've created two columns just as it is on your lab. And all you need to do is highlight the data. And since I have a cool smart board, then I can easily do it. And then what you need to do is look for a place where you can create a chart. Now, on the newest version, and remember I'm using a Mac here, so it's easier for me to see it, but I have a selection here where I can choose charts. It's a tab. If I click on that, I get these choices. Now, the Windows PC version is going to be a little bit different, but I think it's some sort of similar view. So look for a place where you can make a chart. What we have under that is all these choices of different styles that you can make. We're going to do a bar chart, so I find where it says bar, click on that. The next thing is we're choosing what we want it to look like. Any of these would be appropriate, but I'm going to choose the most basic one. There we go. Now it's created it for me. Quick, simple, and easy. Once you have your bar chart, you need to figure out how to label it, and that's where we're going to figure out these titles first. What I need to do is get the toolbox. So on a Mac, that is a choice. I think it is the same for a PC. And under my toolbox, I have a place that's labeled Chart Options. If you have another place where the tools are, your toolbox is, look for Chart Options, and under Chart Options, you'll have Titles. Titles gives you three different choices, I think. Chart titles, vertical title, and horizontal title. And those last two refer to your axis. So I'm going to click on it and do my chart title first. And there's a space for me to type it in. I'm just going to type in title. Remember, I want you guys to give the most specific title possible, so it really gives the most information about your data. As you can see, I've labeled my axes, I've given my chart a title, and I'm pretty much done. There's one more thing that's left on this that you really don't need, and I'm going to show you how you can get rid of it. It's our legend here, Series 1. Since we're just dealing with one particular set, we don't need that series. So if you click on it, highlight it, you can delete it. And I would just recommend getting rid of that. For number 2, you are given a set of data that's missing a couple of points. Number 3 and number 6, for number of days, have question marks beside them. And this is assuming that you will be able to get the answers once you make a graph. Well, in thinking about which sort of graph would be best, it's leading you to believe that a line graph would be best. My advice, however, since we're using Excel to do this, using what is called a scatter plot is a much better idea. So if you want to adjust what type of graph you will use, if you've already put line graph, change it to scatter plot. We're going to do it the same way as we did before. I've typed in my data into 2 different columns, and I'm just going to highlight it. This time, instead of choosing a bar chart, I'm going to look for my options that say scatter plot. XY scatter is my choice. Again, I'm going to choose the most basic one. And you can see here I have a graph where it's just plotted out the points for me. Question F is asking you to consider, why is bar chart the best option for this set of data? I want you to do a little bit of research and see if you can figure it out. Okay, now I'm going to teach you what's called a trend line. you need to highlight the points on your graph first. Click on any of the points, and what will happen is you get this box. If you double click it, will allow you to adjust how those points look. I don't care about that right now, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Once you have those points highlighted, you need to right click on it. When you right click, you are going to see the option that says Add Trend Line, and that's what you want to select. Keep forgetting that I have this capability right here. The options are what you're looking for, so trend line options or something along those lines. And the trend line, we will go ahead and ask them to display the equation on the chart. Look for the box where you can check that selection, and then OK. And what it's done is it's just drawn a line here to show me the best fit between all those points. This is going to help me use the graph to figure out what number 3's question marks will be and what number 6's question marks will be for those different days. On my graph, I haven't labeled it yet, but my number of days is along this way, I'm pretty sure. And so I'm just going to read up and over to help me figure out what the amount of food eaten in grams would be. The other thing that is important on here, and this will allow you to double check using your graph, if you plug in your 3 for x and solve, your y is going to hopefully be close to what your graph line gave you. And then you can do the same for 6, just to double check and see if you're close by using your graph. The equation will be exactly what it should be.